Hi, I'm Randy Graham with Curtis Orchard, and I'm here to invite you to Summer Hort Day 2023, June 8th, 2023, here at Curtis Orchard in Champaign, Illinois. Now, the trick for me here in this invitation video is to kind of show you what we do here without showing you too much, because I want you to come and visit for Summer Hort Day and interact with all of your friends in the business. Now, one of my big questions when I go to Summer Hort Day is, I wonder what this place looks like in season, because none of us can visit each other's places in the height of the season. So I plan to show you a little bit of that today as well. So come with me and I'll tell you a little bit about Curtis Orchard. So here's what a lot of our visitors see when they arrive. Welcome to Curtis Orchard, and you follow the yellow brick road to our store. Yes, we have an Oz theme. I know it's a little bit weird, but I'll tell you how that started. Many years ago in the 1980s, when the business was young, Paul Curtis and I were leaving work late one evening, and I looked at our grain bin and I said, you know, that reminds me of the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz. So a couple weeks later, he hired a mural painter friend of ours to come out and paint the Tin Man's face on that grain bin, which you will see momentarily. After that, we kind of built on that theme. I know we're not in Kansas and all that stuff, but it's been fun. We've had a good time with it, and we've gone with it. So we did a mural on our barn, which is over 100-year-old barn, sort of incorporating the Emerald City, the yellow brick road. This was done by a very well-known muralist here in Champaign, Urbana, Glenn Davies, who's done murals all over the United States. So come with me and we'll take a look at the original grain bin. So here's the grain bin, still with the original paint job. It looked a little faded, but hey, you know. And so you'll find funny names like the Flying Monkey Cafe and things like that. And our guests kind of wonder sometimes, how did they get that name? Especially if they're not super familiar with Wizard of Oz. They'll say, you know, the Flying Monkeys in the Wizard of Oz. Oh, okay. Now, as is typical with farms just like yours, a lot of guests really don't know their way around, and we hope that we're getting new visitors all the time. So on our property, we have these signs. For instance, you are here. This is a pin showing that you are right here. And then this shows our store, party areas, things like that. So these maps are located in various locations so that guests can find their way around. Now this is what you see when you enter our store. We have a bakery to the right, and we also have the Flying Monkey Cafe. The Flying Monkeys Cafe seats about 75 people indoors and many, many more outdoors, but it's not concession food. Flying Monkey is really my wife's passion. She does 13-hour slow roasted Italian beef, made from scratch chicken salad. She really puts a lot of energy into the sides, which you don't find at a lot of restaurants. So it's really kind of a specialty restaurant that has really drawn a following around Champaign, Urbana, which is saying something because Champaign, Urbana is a really big restaurant community. Now we have our baked goods, pies, fritters, donuts, we make kettle corn, and of course as you enter the store, we have our cider, we have some frozen goods, and our apple display. And then, as you can see from this angle, a fairly deep gift shop. So that's one of the things I'm not going to show you a lot about because I want you to come out and explore it for yourself. And then behind the door here in the middle where it says fresh produce, that is where we have our cider operation and our grading line. And I'm also not going to show you that today because I want you to come. Now I get to show you a little bit about what our place looks like in season. So when guests come out to do you-pick of apples or pumpkins, this is what they see. They'll come and find some mums, different mini gourds, pumpkins, Indian corn and such. And then one of our newer additions, which is a more permanent you-pick facility for doing sales. And this is part of our, what I would call silver linings from the pandemic. And I want to really hear from you what your silver linings are. By that, I mean changes you maybe had to make because of the pandemic that really improved your business and that you liked and you wanted to keep. So those are some of the things that we want to talk about during this video as well. When you come to our farm, you'll see that we also are transitioning to high density. Primarily, we're on 15 feet by about 4 to 5. It depends on the rootstock. And we've been experimenting with a number of different rootstocks, which we can talk about when you're here. But we've not completed the process. So when you come to our farm, you will still see some trees that are semi-dwarf on M7. As I'm filming this, we're in mid-September, so we don't have everything completely set up for pumpkins yet. We're actually in the process, and you all know what that's like. But this is where we sell our pumpkins that are pre-picked. And we have kind of a unique advantage in that we have this 17-foot tall copper statue. So a little bit about that. My grandfather built this statue in 1949 because he really wanted to honor the Native Americans who lived in this area originally. And I was able to acquire that, and I encourage you to acquire unique anythings that you can that really set your farm apart. This is important to me because I can keep it in my family. My children and grandchildren can see what their great and great-great-grandfather constructed back in 1949. And we're preserving a piece of folk art that's one of a kind. It also just makes our place a little more interesting and fun. Now behind the statue, you can see another building. This is our outdoor pumpkin checkout. We had toyed with that concept for years, but then when the pandemic hit and we couldn't have as many people in the store, it became a necessity. So we started doing checkout just under a tent. And that was problematic because we couldn't really use very good technology. We used like clunky iPads and things that got the job done, but they were really slow. So now we've been able to hardwire electronics into that store, power, have much more high-end cash registers that connect with the system and everything. And this is one of those silver linings that we've really seen our pumpkin sales improve as a result of that addition. I've mentioned a couple of buildings that we added because of the pandemic. The challenge was we really wanted to put those in 2021, but because we couldn't get supplies, materials, anything accomplished during that year, all those projects had to wait till this year. Now another problem with, you've had it too, supply chain issues when we were having trouble getting packaging for donuts, even donut mix and things like that. So when we would acquire something, we tried to buy the whole season's worth. We didn't have any place to store it all. So one of our projects this year was an extension to one of our machine sheds. This is an 88 by 45 foot extension so that when we acquire something, we can buy the season's worth, which yes, is a lot of money laid out, but at least now we've got some place to put it. And we know that we can get through the season with donut packages or donut mix or shortening or whatever it might be. So this has been an important addition for us, one that was much needed. And as you know, you never build big enough, so it's already filled and we could have used more space, but there you have it. So we really like to focus on fun for the whole family. That includes the U-Pick, the store, the bakery, and of course, kids activities. So follow me down this way. Wanted to point out too something, also another unique feature at our orchard. My son wanted to follow in the footsteps of his great-grandfather who built the Indian statue and Native American statue, and he became a master welder and has created these for our orchard. So we love having more modern art on our farm as well. Families can come out here and everybody can enjoy the property together. You don't have, like at a movie theater, you have mom and dad might be interested in one kind of a film, the kids in another kind. and they might even go their separate ways and then meet afterwards. But here, we like to see families enjoying themselves together, and family and friends. We were recently voted best in 7 different categories locally, which we're really humbled by, honestly. I mean, best date spot, best place for kids' activities, best pies, best bakery, just a wonderful array of accolades locally. So if you come down this path, past the yellow brick road, you enter our activities area for kids and families. We have a toddler area so that the young kids don't get run over when it's a really busy day. They have kind of a private space. And then we have a play area here with some mini golf in it. And more activities that I'm not going to show you at the moment. You'll have to come and see. Any activity that's farm related is something we really encourage here at Curtis Orchard. Pony rides are an important part of that. We have Larry Miller from nearby Beecher City, who handles our pony rides and has been part of our operation for 12 years now. So that's my brief overview of Curtis Orchard here in Champaign. We're located right off exit 232 on Interstate 57, and our front door is less than a mile from that interchange. Champaign is home to the University of Illinois, where a lot of your speakers live, and we hope that we've shown you enough to intrigue you to come to Curtis Orchard to Summer Hort Day, June 8th, 2023. Look forward to seeing you and interacting with you and learning from you. I hope we can learn from each other.